Welcome beta testers. This is Charlie Becker at EAA. I'm going to give you a quick introduction to Sitecore. Um, so here's the login page. Sitecore is the platform that EAA uses for all our websites. And today I'm going to use chapter 846 as an example. So we're going to go ahead and log in. First thing you'll see is you'll have kind of a content editor choice or a media library choice. Let's go with the content editor. And you'll see over on the left there's content and media library. First thing I want you to do is keep drilling down next to content, chapters, home, and you'll see now we're at EA 846. I'm going to open it one more time, and now we have the pages that are already pre-existing for this website. Now, we kind of put together these pages with some templated functionality in there. So for example, in the About Us, let me go to the the published page. You'll notice if you go to 846's published page on the Sitecore platform, there's some text, and then right here, this About Us, this information that I've highlighted is all coming from EAA's data that we have on the chapter. Now, one word of caution is we might be linked to older data, especially right now as we go through renewal, because we're on a test site here and it's not pulling from the actual official data, so it might be a little bit behind the curve. But as long as it's coming through, that means it's working. But the thing to take note on templates is that there is information being provided from EA's website to fill out the page. If you don't want that data, you would delete the template and replace it with a generic page. Let me look at another example here. Young Eagles. This text at the top is editable, and then once you get to Young Eagles coordinators, this stuff right here is pulling from the EAA data. If something needs to be changed on this highlighted section, that means we would actually have to change the Young Eagles coordinator for the chapter, and then it would start reflecting it correctly. Okay, so now let's go back to Sitecore, and each one that's a template has a unique identifier. So these stars, the calendar, the envelope, the ones that are the generic pages have this kind of text box with some printing in there depicted. So that's how you can tell the two apart. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our root home page for 846. And you can see here, so we're highlighted over here, and to do anything in Sitecore, the first thing you pretty much have to do is lock and edit the page. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to click lock and edit, and as you roll down the page, there's several boxes. Item title, which really isn't that particularly relevant. Then you get to details. Details is useful because you'll see in red print if this is a template, it will tell you what this page is doing for you. So this is it says this is the home page of your chapter site. Okay, that's what it's kind of telling you. And then where the real meat and potatoes starts up is right here under page title. So you're within details and then page title. This is where you can change the title of the page and also the content. So here's page content. If you want to make some changes here, we're going to click Show Editor, and you can see here is the text that's on the current home page. Now let's go look at chapter 846's current home page. You can see under current home page they have most important meeting of the year. So I'm just going to highlight this text. I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. I'm going to come back over here to our existing text in the editor, and I'm going to paste it right here. Now, one caution on copying from your old website and pasting in. It works fine for text, but do not try to do that with pictures. It'll look okay, but it's actually the picture has not been imported into your web page yet, so it's really just linking back to your old site. The problem is when we turn off the old site, that photo will then break. So you want to move photos over differently. But in this case, we've moved our text over. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. I removed the bold, so I'm going to put the bold back in. So now we've got the text in there that we want. I'm going to click Accept. And then once you're done editing a page, you're always going to click Save, and then click, if it's not already highlighted, click the Publish tab, and that'll provide you with Ready to Publish, which you click, and then Publish. And then it brings up select the relevant publishing. Always just select all by, or just leave it as is and click Publish, and then click OK when it says do you want to proceed. So now it's publishing. Items been published. You can close that. Now let's jump over to, again, here's what we highlighted and added. So let's go to the home page. This is the UAT site for user acceptance testing site, and boom. Now you see we have most important meeting of the year. A little more gap here than I'd like, but then we have the text that we just published. If I go back, I can play around with the text spacing and whatever formatting to clean that up. But that's basically how you edit and publish a page. Now let's go back and look at that site one more time. It says chapter 846, but it doesn't tell you anything about where we are. So let's say we want to add our city state below the chapter number. How would we do that? Well, let's go back here, and we're still on our root page. I'm going to scroll up to the top, click Lock and Edit. I'm going to start scrolling down, and here's a block that says Header, Image, and Copy. There's the image. I'm going to leave that alone for now. Oh, here's my header title, so if I needed to change it, that's where I'd change the title. But here is where I'm going to add the city-state, and I'm going to add Wadsworth, OH. And you can see its default position is to the right. If you wanted it on the left, you could click there. By doing this on the root page, it will carry through to all your pages. On the individual pages, if you want to turn this header off, you can. Okay, so now that I've got that done, again, save, ready to publish, publish, publish again and again. And as soon as it's done, we'll go take a look at our page. Close that out, go back to our page. I'm going to hit the refresh button, and boom. Now we know that chapter 846 is in Wadsworth, Ohio. Now the next thing I want to show you is how do you delete a page. So let's go back to our site, and let's say you're looking down this list of pages and you go, yeah, you know, we really don't have an IMC or a VM, or let's say we don't have a VMC club and it's sitting here. I want to remove that page. What do? Well, basically I highlight the page, and there's usually more than one way to do this in Sitecore. So for example, if I go to the home page, I could click this big red X button, and that would probably do it. Or I can right click and click delete. Are you sure you want to delete VMC Club? Okay. Boom. That page is now gone. Now let's just go back here and hit refresh and see if it removed it from our page. Notice it's still there. Why is that? Well, that's because we didn't republish the site. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back over here to my root directory, and I'm going to click publish, and click publish again, and OK. And now let's see if that doesn't remove that page. Okay, let's go back to our there, click home to refresh. And now you can see that VMC is no longer in our nav. Okay, now how do you add a page? Well, let's say you go, hey, we've just formed a VMC club and we want to add one. Well, we happen to have a templated page for VMC. So I'm going to right click on my root directory. I'm going to click insert, and I could do a generic page, but since we already have a VMC page, I'm just going to go ahead and use that. And instead of chapters VMC page, I'm just going to call it VMC page. Click OK. And here we go. Boom. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Ready to publish. 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 And OK. Page is published. Let me go back over here. I'm going to hit refresh again. And boom. There's VMC page, and there's some basic text. And that's default info. So there is not a VMC club apparently at 846. Okay, but let's assume for a second that I want to keep that page, but now I don't really like where it is. So I'm going to go ahead and move my VMC page by simply clicking and dragging it, and I'm going to put it right under. You see the blue bar? I'm going to put it right under IMC and let go. Are you sure you want to move VMC page before newsletters? Okay. And boom, now it's down there. Now remember, I'm going to go back, click on my root directory, and click publish again just to make sure that the nav gets repositioned. Close. Now I'm going to come back over to my real site, click refresh, and boom, now it's right below IMC Club. Alright, so we've moved the page. Now, what if we moved the VMC page and we dropped it on IMC Club? Are you sure you want to move VMC page into IMC Club? Let's click OK for a second. And now you can see it's a sub page. You're allowed one layer of navigation below the main top nav. So we're going to go ahead and say, yeah, that's what we wanted. We're going to hit publish. Publish again. OK. Close. And let's go see if we got this figured out on the other side. Here's our live site. We're going to click refresh. And nope, it has not. Oh, hold on. I think it's still thinking. Oh, page not found. Let me try that again. Going to click on our home. Oh, here we go. So it says IMC Club, and now you have this little arrow. So you can open it up, and now you've got the choice between an IMC Club page and a VMC page. So that's how it happens when you add a second layer of navigation. Okay, now again, if I go back and I say, yeah, we don't want that we don't want it that way. We're going to just go ahead and delete that page. Again, right click, delete, OK. In this case, since we've kind of made a page, changed the overall nav, we're going to go back to publish, click the publish button, boom, and we should have removed the VMC. After we refresh the page, go back to home, go back to home, and now the VMC page is gone again. So, now, let's say that you have a newsletter and you want to put your newsletter out on the website. So Chapter 846 does this, our chapter does it. We already have a default page sitting here for you for newsletters. So how might you go about adding a newsletter to your website? Well, in most cases, your newsletter is a PDF. And in that case, we're going to go ahead and add that PDF file to our media library first. So over here, you can see down in the lower left corner, there's Content Editor, which is what we're in now. But we're going to click on Media Library. Okay? And then this is going to bring something up that's a little bit confusing in my book. First off, you only want to operate under chapters. This files and images is for EAA, and we're going to try to hide that in the future, but right now it's still open. But let's go ahead and open up chapters, and now you've got all chapters, which is where we have media that's open to any chapter that might want to use it. And then we have chapter folders. So again, drill down into chapter folders. Here we are at 846. And there's two types of subdirectories here. There's a files and an images. Well, files is just for like PDF files. You can actually create subdirectories under your chapter's website here to make it easier for you to group stuff together. So I'm going to click on files, and you can see here now we can upload a file. So I'm going to click upload, and it basically says choose your file. So I'm going to click that. Now I'm going to navigate to where I have some info on some newsletters, and I'm going to pick the October newsletter for 846 and click open, and there it is, and I'm going to click upload. And now you can see newsletter 2019-10 is uploaded. So we have the October newsletter uploaded. So once you have your media there, your file there, now you go back to your content editor. I'm going to go to the newsletters page. As always, I'm going to click lock and edit. And now I'm going to scroll down to the page content. I'm going to click show editor. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to delete this stuff. I'm going to delete, let's see, I'm going to put in 2019. And then right here, I'm going to type October. And then I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to insert a Sitecore link. So I'm linking to that PDF. So once I've done that, I'm going to click on Media Items. And again, I'm going to drill down back to my Files subdirectory and select that October newsletter and click Insert. And I'm going to accept. And I'm going to save. Publish, ready to publish, publish. Publish again and OK. Okay, now it should be there for us. If we come back over to our website, I'm going to click the 846 home to get it to refresh. I'm going to come down to newsletters. Here we go, 2019, October. And now if you click on that link, you pull up the October newsletter. And that's how you would add a PDF file to your website. Okay, so now that we've added a PDF file, let's show how you would add an image file. So let's say you have a good image that you want to put into your media library. Again, you'd come down to Media Library. And since I've already been in there, the subdirectories are already open for me. This time I want to go into Images. Okay. And I click on the Images subfolder, and there's already some here, but I'm going to upload a new one. I'm going to choose the file, and I'm going to come over to and grab one of their Young Eagles flight photos that I grabbed off their website. I'm going to click Open and Upload. Okay, this is Brian B. Kids 3. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my content editor, and this time I'm going to my Young Eagles page. And so we got Young Eagles. Remember, this is a templated page, so we're inserting an image. I scroll down to my details. I'm going to leave the page title as Young Eagles. And, oh, I forgot to lock and edit. You always got to lock and edit. So I'm going to lock and edit first. Now I'm going to scroll down. Now you can see I can make changes. Click on Show Editor. And we've got Young Eagles content will be coming from John and Charlie, so that's kind of embarrassing. So I'm going to get rid of that and type our chapter is very active in Young Eagles. And then I want to put my image in there. So now that I'm in my content editor, I'm going to click on this icon, which is Insert Sitecore Media. And then I'm going to click on Chapters. Chapter folders, 846, and then I'm going to go Images this time, and I'm going to click that image here. And just so you know, alternative text is a way to add text that will help a search engine find or know what an image is, basically. So I'm going to type Young Eagle here. Sometimes you'll get an error, like it'll give you a warning if you don't have alt text as they abbreviate it to. So now that I've got that, I'm going to click Insert. Oh, and there's your image, a very large picture of a young eagle. And I'm going to click on it and resize that. I'm going to try to resize that image. Let me try that from the bottom here. There we go. I'm going to resize that image some. I think I made it a little squashed. And there we go. That looks about right. I'm going to click Accept. I'm going to hit, as always when I'm done, I'm going to hit Save. Click on the Publish tab, ready to publish, publish. Accept the two next blue buttons as defaults. close. Now I'm going to go look at what we did over here on the real site. Refresh. Go to Young Eagles. And there we go. We've got our chapter is very active in Young Eagles. There's the photo we added. And here's our Young Eagle coordinators. So that's how you would add an image and then publish it to the website. Now, if you want to change a banner on a website, we have a bunch of banners to pick from. So let's do something like that. So right now we've got, let's go look at our page. And let's go to the About Us. Right now we have a cub sitting there, and let's say we say for some reason we want to change that out. We don't really know what we want yet, but we'll just pick from one of the EAA headers. So you go to the About Us page, lock and edit. You'll scroll down to this header image. You'll click Clear. You'll click in the little box here, and now you'll go, let's try Browse and see where that takes us. Okay. Here's a good example. When you're on a page like this, I found the easiest thing is it's much better displayed if you do the tree view over here on the right. So if you ever run into this, click on the tree view, and now you can start drilling down. Chapters. In this case, we're going to go all chapters. These are images that are available to everyone that we're going to supply, and we'll add some more as we go along. But we just opened it up. This is About Us. Let's look at this one called Happy Pilots and use that. We'll select it. So boom, there's our new marquee. And we're going to go ahead and save. Ready to publish. Publish. And then click the two blue buttons and we'll be done. It's published. I'm going to go back over to the real site. Remember, right now we have this Piper Cub. I'm going to refresh. And boom, there's our Happy Pilots. Remember, when you're picking out images, you're going to have your title on the right most of the time. So pick an image that makes sense that way. This is a mobile responsive website as well. So be aware of that as you go along. So the image will reshape. Here, let me see if I can't give you an example of that real quick. So as you shrink the page, I got to get to the bottom here. The image contracts as well to accommodate it. So just something to keep in mind. If you're looking for a banner image, 1600 pixels by 200 pixels is what you're shooting for. So that's a quick introduction to Sitecore. I hope it doesn't seem too intimidating to you. I think overall I've been able to just kind of poke around and figure out how to do most of the operations. I really appreciate your help on this, and I look forward to getting your feedback.